some of the seniors. Some of those guys that are in this group were also in that group, and that's because I guess they just like playing jazz. So we're going to include those kids in this group too, but when I call your name down, please come join me down here. We're going to start with the trumpets. Max, would you join me down here, please? We'll have Max go. Max is going to draw the raffle, so if it's not your number, it's his fault. We have the numbers. Max is good. Okay. Max, if it's your family, it doesn't count. Shauna says the heck it doesn't. I know. Alright, keep going up. Alright, Max, read the number. That says ticket. Slowly.
7, 5, 3, 2, 7, 6.
What does he need to do? He wants the money? Wow. All right. Okay.
Turned out to be about $430. That he won. We raised like $860 total.
So, when Max and I, were you a freshman when the water couldn't happen? Max and I established our relationship when he was a freshman. He wasn't in the jazz band yet, but Max likes water a lot. And we were in marching band practice, and there's a pacing to how we do things outside. And you know, the famous band director said just one more time. Well, one more time it turned into like 15 more times. And Max, in his own gentle way, as this confident young freshman, who I don't think we had many conversations at that point, to this being the third one, blurts out from the field, as though I don't know, at the top of his lungs, yeah. What? I said, who was that? And his head drops, and his hand went up. All right, come here. Which is always an interesting conversation. So we just talked through it. Anyway, so Max had auditioned for the Jazz 1, and we got him as a sophomore, right? And he's been one of these guys. It's interesting because, you know, a jazz ensemble, in most cases, there's one person per part. So, like, there's like a second trumpet, or a third trumpet, or a fourth trumpet. What did you play your first year? Max played the second trumpet, which is one of the harder ones because it's close to all the melody notes, but not there. It's hard to hear that. What did you play last year? Played second last year. And then this year, he came up and he and Sam split the lead book. And the lead's all the high note stuff. And that's what I did when I was in school and when I played in Doc A. Torres bands at IPFW. And I may have gotten a bloody nose from time to time. But he never did. And at the beginning of the year when he was playing lead, he was really working at it. And he was working, and it was starting to come out. But around March, all of a sudden he didn't sound like he was working, and he was playing. And he and Sam have done a great job playing that lead trumpet book. And this guy is a super cool dude. Does a great job in this band. I know he loves what he does. So please give a round of applause for Mr. Max Mitchell. Michael. So every band needs to have solid lead players and solid soloists, and just like that, we also need to have what we call solid section players. These are the guys that play all the inner parts. They very rarely ever get credit. A lot of times they don't get solos, but the band doesn't sound good if they're not playing. And this is Michael's third year in the band. Michael is just one of these guys, he's like Mr. Dependable. And a lot of times I go around the band and I just play. And we get to Michael, I go, that's what it needs to sound like, guys. Michael is one of the nicest dudes. He doesn't say a lot with his mouth, but he says so much about how he leads others in this quiet, soft-spoken way. He does a really wonderful job. Oh, see, I can't tell what he says. But Michael's done a wonderful job in his trumpet section and in the band. He's a wonderfully kind human being, and we're really going to miss him too. So please give it up for Mr. Michael Thomas. Mr. Derek, come on down. A lot of 3-year members in this group. This is a pretty good group. Derek's been playing in the rhythm section, and so when we've been fortunate enough to be honor bands at several events, and when you do that, sometimes you get to come back and play in an evening concert. It's not judged; it's just kind of for fun. And we played this tune when Derek was a sophomore called "La Fiesta," and it was recorded by the Woody Herman Band. And I don't know what happened, but Derek was always recovering his parts, but it's not like he got moved in ways that most people don't get moved. And he just like, I think you actually burned up that keyboard. Do you remember this? He was, and the whole band went, what? And Derek said, just like all these guys, Derek said the piano part is also, it's one of those things that it's not covered, the band just kind of doesn't sound right. And Derek's had some pretty good challenges with some of the tunes we've done, and he's always taken the time to work it out, always done a great job. You're number 3 here too, right? So Derek's been a part of this group for 3 years, done a wonderful job on the piano. Please give a big round of applause for Mr. Derek Chin. Nielsen, come on down. That's part of Brian's band club. One of the really neat things about doing what we do is that because we don't see students for a semester and then we move on, we see them over the course of years. And like Mr. Frazier was talking about, he's seen some of those kids over the course of 7 years. And Ryan is a senior, and this is his first year in this band. And the growth in this young man has been awesome. And we see these kids come in and they're all different ability levels, and Ryan has just done this in everything. You were in the dance band too, right? He was part of a great trombone section in our band's concert band, did a great job in the marching band, and Ryan's just done this. He's the little engine that did. He just kept chugging and chugging and chugging and chugging. And he auditioned, he got in this group, and kind of like Michael, that third trombone part is pretty tough because your ear doesn't, what the part looks like isn't necessarily what your ear tells you it should be. And Ryan spent a lot of time working. I know he's going to be going down to Purdue University, and he's going to be auditioning for the Purdue marching band, is that right? Right? Is that going to be a family thing? Is she still doing that? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, Ryan has been, he's been an absolute joy to have in this group. He's a super kind person and has worked his tail off to achieve some really wonderful things and really contribute in a very positive way to the musicianship and the personality of this group. And those two things are equally important, and we couldn't have done this year without Ryan. So please give a hand for senior Ryan. All right, Pastor, come here. Ethan and I also established our relationship on the band field. You remember this? What year was that for you? His sophomore year. Ethan was getting a little too big for his britches. And he he and I had a conversation, and it ended with, and now you're going to go tell your parents about this. And we all talked about it. And those are, sometimes, as parents with our own kids, and as a surrogate parent, I think to some of your kids, those things happen because we care about them and we love them. And we don't want to see them be less than their best. And sometimes, teenagers, they kind of get a little bit pushy, just a little bit. And Ethan and I talked about that. And Ethan got, I don't know what happened, but this dude has like changed the culture of the trombone section in these, not that it was bad, it was just like Ethan, like these kids worship him. I mean, I was walking down the hallway and there was Ethan and there was like 5 little trombone players just following him. And so Ethan's been a part of some great trombone sections with some great trombone leadership, and he's learned from some of the best. And then this year he's kind of been that modeling, and he's kind of mentored a lot of these guys. And this year we played some music that featured him, and I know that Ethan really took a lot of time to listen to Stan Kenton's band and to listen to the trombone sections in there. And this is the great thing about this mentor, this growth that I was talking about. Sometimes I'd have to stop what I was doing because Ethan was teaching the trombone section. We'd be in rehearsal, I'd be trying to say something to trumpets, and I'd look at Ethan and he's like, do this, do this, do this, do this. And they did. And this whole band's been like that. I would tell them, go with your section leaders, and they'd come back better. I go, wow, we're better than I am. I guess I'm just going to go with it. But Ethan's done a fantastic job playing lead trombone in this band. He played first trombone in the dance band. Did you play the euphonium in there too? 2 years playing the euphonium in there. Marching band, played baritone, did the pep band thing. He's kind of like the cheerleader for the group, and he's done a tremendous job, and we're really going to miss him. And he's going on to Purdue University Fort Wayne. What are you going to study, Ethan? The future band director right here. This is Mr. Ethan Hacker. Okay, so this whole concept of section players, not only is this band full of great musicians, it's full of wonderful people. And this guy is second to none on that list. This smile that he has on his face, he has that like all the time. And he is just this kind, wonderful human being. We were down in the state jazz finals. We were fortunate enough to be there for that again this year. And we had a clinician who I had sort of warned the guys about, said, this guy can be a little bit edgy. And he was more than a little bit edgy when he was talking to the band. And in particular, he was talking to Andrew, and Andrew was that intimidating? Oh, yeah, a little bit. And this guy was kind of grilling him about something, and Andrew was, I don't know, and he told him the answer. And like, Mr. Verbosic was with me, I was getting so upset, he had to say, calm down, and Andrew was just totally chill about it. And he sat in that lead tenor spot for a couple years, and he's done some great solo work, which you're going to hear in the next tune. But this young man has had a lot as well in terms of how he contributes, how he leads quietly, and how he's extraordinarily dependable. Mom, I know you're awfully proud of him, and so am I. Please give a round of applause for this senior, Andy Chester. Yeah, that sounds good. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Thomas House, you heard from Michael and Jonathan earlier, the Thomas House is in a house divided. Michael, you're going to Purdue, is that correct? Which means that Jonathan is going to Indiana University. He's going to be the new basketball coach, so they're going to start winning. But I'm an IU fan. Jonathan is in first year, right? Jonathan's played with in Phil's band for 3 years, right? No, just two? Oh, 2 years, excuse me. And you're going to be a lawyer, aren't you? I say law school. And Jonathan jumped into a really good saxophone section, and a lot of credit goes to the lead alto player because of how the lead alto player makes things sound and interpret. But if there's not a good second player supporting the lead alto player, then it's not as good as it could be. One of the reasons that this saxophone section was so good this year was because of this young man. And And we would, again, like his brother, would go down and say, play it, and he would have it, and he was solid, and never had to worry about him at all. Also, a wonderfully kind human being, just always has a smile on his face. Maybe not when his brother's around. It's really cool to have brothers and siblings in the band. We have some other siblings that we'll talk about later, but this guy's done a fantastic job, and he did a wonderful job supporting this band for his senior year, so please give a round of applause for Jonathan Thomas. This young lady. This young lady has done, if there's something that could be done in the band world here at Carroll, she's done it, and she's done it extraordinarily well. Okay, so as a freshman, she auditioned for a solo on an instrument she's never played, and no one had ever played, right? The iwi. And she came in and we said, here's an instrument that we don't know how to play, you've got 5 minutes, figure it out. As a freshman, and she did, and then we featured her as a freshman in the marching band show. And then, did you play in jazz too that year? Yeah. She played flute in jazz too, bari sax. She played bari sax in jazz too. Then she auditioned for Jazz 1 as a sophomore on the flute, right? And that year we had Megan and Alyssa were both playing the flute. And I think that was the same year that Garrett destroyed the piano and we had this great piccolo thing happening. Then last year, she moved over to the bari saxophone. In addition to balancing being a drum major in the fall last year and being in the winter drum line playing the cymbals, and she took on the baritone saxophone, which that's a beast, and it takes a special kind of person to take that on. And Megan, it challenged her. And I'd watch her, and she's like the most determined person on the planet. She makes her mind up, she's going to do it. And she buried through it, buried through it, buried through it, buried through it, and then she came back, buried through it. She came back as a senior, and this young lady commanded the marching band, doing some really hard stuff. She yelled louder than Max did, without the PA system, and took that energy into the saxophone section this year, and especially in the last probably 3 or 4 months, this huge, awesome baritone saxophone sound that's come out of this wonderful young lady. She wrote an arrangement of, was it clear? Adagio for strings for flute choir last year for a project for a drum major. I just can't. This young lady's special, and they're all special, but the musical abilities and the things that she's added to the band program have just been astonishing. She was in the All-State Orchestra, is that right? What, am I forgetting anything? She was in that band, yeah. Wonderful young lady, just a real talent, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have her in the band for 3 years, right? Please give it up for senior Miss Megan Carroll. All right, I wrote this down so I wouldn't mess anything up. Is Alyssa the last one? All right, come on. I think she's the only 4-year member, right? So, let me tell you about Alyssa. This young lady came in and auditioned. It is very tough to make it into the band as an incoming freshman. And this young lady came in and she did it. And as a freshman, we did this tune called Indra, where we said, let's listen to her solo a little bit. And I think you won some solo awards as a freshman, didn't you? And then as a sophomore, she played flute again. What did we play that year? Cruising for a Bluesin'. I don't know. But the thing about the flute in the jazz band is there generally isn't music written for flute, so whatever she plays, she has to transpose. And when you consider some of the things that she's had to do, it's pretty remarkable. You heard her play a little bit on Hit Her by the Dozen, and you heard her play with the combo. She also has been a member of the All-State Orchestra, is that correct? She's won awards just about every year when we've gone out for something with the flute section. I'm sorry, with the on her flute with this jazz band. Alan, does she know yet? Can I tell her? Just found out today, she doesn't know this, that she's going to be on a professional recording that was recorded by the Summit City Brass. Which, well, yeah, so she's, yeah, that's pretty cool. And again, the musicianship of this young lady, she played this piece called by Cecile Chaminade last year, her flute concerto that we played in college, and I just struggled with the trumpet part. I remember hearing her play going, goodness gracious, how's that even humanly possible? But one thing that sticks out to me about Liz, as talented and as wonderfully outgoing as a musician she is, she's probably one of the most humble people I know. She's an extraordinarily gifted artist, extraordinarily gifted musician, and just an extraordinary human being. She has contributed to this jazz ensemble for the last 3 years, and it's going to be a little weird to not see Alyssa sitting down there, but that doesn't mean that we haven't enjoyed every second of it. So would you please join me in giving our 4-year senior, Miss Alyssa Parr, a big round of applause. I think that's it. I'm notoriously bad about, we have one more too, by the way. I'm always forgetting about announcements. So, Julie Hacker, Joan Toller, am I forgetting anything? We're going to need everyone's help, students, in picking up and cleaning up when we're done, so you're not quite off the hook yet. This last tune is something we closed out all of our sets with. This is a tune that we've tried to play for the last 3 years, and we just couldn't get to it. I think we could have, but we didn't have anything else to play. But this was written by Sammy Nestico, and it was recorded by his band. This is going to feature Andrew Chester on the tenor saxophone, Sean Hunt on the alto saxophone, Alyssa Parr on the flute, that's right, it starts with Alyssa, and Henry Wellman on the trumpet, and Zach Hearn on the drum set. This is a composition by Sammy Nestico entitled Night Flight. I want to thank you all for being here and for this wonderful jazz season of music that we've had, particularly with the jazz band, and I hope you enjoy Night Flight. Thank you very much. All right, everyone, thank you so very, very much. Students, we need everyone's help cleaning up. We have everybody help clean up. Thank you all. Have a wonderful and safe weekend.